Good morning, everyone. We are up to the Mishnah Daf Ayin Aleph Amid Aleph, and we're continuing the story of the Ben Sira murder, the criteria and the qualifications that one needs to meet. So we're up to the Mishnah, about 10 lines on the top of the page. Okay, remember, in order to qualify to be a Ben Sira murder, you had to steal. Okay, the person is a glutton, but he had to steal from his parents money. And with that money, he would have bought the meat and the wine cheap. It says in Mishnah, what happened? He stole from his father, which means it has to be his father because it's accessible. So it's possible to continue doing it. It's not a one-off event. This is a continuous event. The Achal B'Shus Avi, but he ate it at home. There, he's scared of his father. He might be caught. So he's not going to do it that frequently. So he won't be considered a Ben Sira murder. Or Mishalach Chein stole money from others, which here is inaccessible. So you can't constantly rely you're going to be able to steal from others. But the Achal B'Shus Chein, he ate it in other people's places where you're not really scared of them. That's not good enough. Or Mishalach Chein, or you stole from others, so it's not accessible. But Achal B'Shus Avi, then you ate it at home and your father will catch you out. Where do you get all this money and everything else? All of these ain't a Nasa Ben Sira murder. When do you become a Ben Sira murder? It has to be accessible. And it has to be that you're not scared, so we can rely that this can continue happening. You steal from your parents, accessible, and you eat it elsewhere. You're not worried. You have to steal from both, because it says it has to affect both of them. Says the Gemara, if he stole from his father, made his father's house, even though it's accessible, but bias, he's scared, he'll get caught. He stole from others, but he eats this, so he's not scared. But he's not scared, it's not accessible. The Chosh came surely if he stole from others inaccessible, ate it at home and he's scared. The only time is he steals from his father, but he eats it in the other rishus. Of his houses. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Yossi, very interesting discussion. Rabbi Yossi by Yudaim, but actually Mishal obviously is still from both father's mother. So we want to know legally, how does the mother have money? Isn't Masha Konsi Isha Konabaila? Whatever the woman has belongs to her husband. So ultimately it belongs to the husband. And is that the machlekes between the Tanakama, Rabbi Yossi? Tanakama says the father, because really even the mother always belongs to the father. So the Gemara is going to try to figure out a case of how the mother has money without the father. The meals are already set aside. The father has an obligation to feed his mother. So the food that he set aside for the mother, that's the mother's. So the Gemara doesn't good enough. It's money he has to steal, not food. And he has to purchase meat cheap. He need it, and you should drink it. The money set aside to take care of the father, not take care of the mother. And that money belongs to the mother. That's one answer. Or by saying, someone else said to the mother, I'm going to give you money on the condition that your husband has no chelik in it. So that's how you get on. Now, truth of the matter, there's a big machlekes if that works or doesn't work. And in fact, you can say those are two opinions in the Gemara. What I don't understand is why the Gemara doesn't answer. When do we say that the money belongs to the husband? Is if he supports it, but if she says, like Abuna says, I don't need your thing. I'm going to take care of myself. She has her own money. Anyway, I'm not sure why the Gemara does not answer that. Maybe because that was pretty rare in those days. We're up to the second Mishnah of Ayin Aleph Amid Aleph. If the father wanted to take him to court because he was a glutton and he used to gorge his food down, and his mother doesn't want to take him something, she knows ultimately he'll be doomed. Or you don't become a Sira murder both parents have to agree. If they were not suitable for each other, we'll soon see what that means. You don't come Sira murder. What do you mean it's not suitable? Let's say they were not allowed to marry each other. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, this is his father, this is his mother, and he still has to and he's a Ben Sira murder. Now, interesting. There's a big machlekes in the Rishonim if a mamzer has a mitzvah of kibbud of aim because they did an aveda. and a Russia you have to debate. If they're living in sin, they're Rishoyim. So it seems to me when that kibbul of aim and ben shomer are totally two different things. So here we're focusing only on the child. It's not, even though the only way it happens is by rebelling against your parents, but the Aveda that we're killing you for is not the rebelling against your parents, it's the Seifa, Melastim, Sabrias, and the rest of the things that you will end up doing. Ella, Bishavel Avikama. You know what Yehuda meant to say? She has to be a spitting image of her husband, like a twin. They have to have the same kind of voice as Shemei B'Kalenu. The matter have to look the same, who were the same height. Doesn't say about the width, just says the height. They don't become a ben murder. My time in Shemei B'Kalenu. At least one of those qualities they have to be Kalenu is written as if it's one. Because there's Kalenu as if it's one word, both of our voices are exactly the same. But the Koil be in and Shavin. Once we know that the voice has to be identical, the Mare, the Kaimanami bin Shavin, as we identical. He's command all the time, we say the model how you will also live. I bet saying the didn't exist and never will happen. The Lama Nichtavar is written just to learn Taidim Kabba's Char. You command, follows up because it's impossible to find two people exactly the same. It's practically impossible. Or he is the same, or we can say of Shimini. It could even be according to Rachamim, which follow what Rav Shimon said. What Rav Shimon say, and another reason to say that possibly Masomer never occurred because Rav Shimon, what did this kid do to his parents? He ate tatima basar. Okay, he ate a quantity of meat, stole money from the parents, like one meat. He ate a half of wine, Italian wine. And what exactly is the mile of Italian wine? Rashi said before is because it's a premium wine, so it's addictive. Cheap wine, you don't really want. It's addictive wine. Other than shame, in fact, one of the shame uses a lot. I think I may uses a lotion that says anyone who says that doesn't know what he's talking about. It's that it's not that the wine is better, but it costs more money. Not that it's better. The Rambam misses out the word healthy. So it seems the Rambam doesn't matter. Wine is wine. All wines are addictive. All the imam might see in so parents based on that are going to go to a court and say, kill our son. What kind of parents will do that? It's never happened and never will happen. Which means you can even follow the Chachamim. You don't have to be Shovin, Bekoil, and Mara. And Kaimer, there's still, which parents are going to bring their kids and to get killed? The and Chassidus explains what's Shadrejah Kabbal's Char. That, you can have the smartest person in the world. When he has to tie his shoes, his chachma tying the shoes won't be much different than anybody else's. Why is that? Because besides being you have your own skills, you're limited by the thought that you're working with, and therefore the chachma now is basically working in a very narrow window. And it has to come to an end. So therefore, the consequence that you want is going to limit to what your seichel can do. We say that Torah is Chachmasa Shakadosh Baruch Hu, which means it's unlimited. If every single mitzvah in the Torah has to have an outcome, then you're limited by the outcome. So the Eibush should put a few mitzvahs in the Torah that have no outcome, because it'll never happen. And that proves that the Chachma there is not limited in any way, because it doesn't matter what the outcome is, because it never happened anyway. So once we know that in certain parts of the Torah the Chachma is bligvul, because it's not limited by an outcome, then we know the entire Torah is Chachmos the Tzon Shel Baruch Hu is unlimited. That's why there's certain mitzvahs, and we'll see that 3 mitzvahs in the Torah that, according to the Gemara, never happened. That's one. However, we'll have the same comment every. I saw the Shafti about Kibra. I sat in this cave. Big machlek in the poskim. What's going on? What do you mean sat in the cave? I'll sit in the cave. So some people want to say it's actually Ishmael wrote down. It's talking about on the matzeva, and according to many poskim, you're allowed to sit on the matzeva. Matzeva is merely they'll cover. It's not on the mace. And maybe you're allowed to sit on the matzeva. Others don't think you're allowed to sit on the matzeva. And there's a discussion. Sorry. You saw a caver of a Ben Soda murder. But you shot the al but the lashon is I sat on his caver. Actually, I just noticed when Kiva Eger said you up to Shmuel, exactly where they have the two opinions there about Matzeba, if allowed to walk on a caver, right? It's some of those. Okay, Kaman Ozla Hadatanya. Next mitzvah. Iradachas. It never happened and never will happen. Is written. Come on. Why can't Iradachas happen? Because Rabbi Lezer said. It says in the pasuk that you have to take everything in the city and burn it. Now we know it says in the other pasuk you're not allowed to burn, you're not allowed to erase Hashem's name. So Rabbi Lezer kol ish yesh bo afilu mezuzah achas. If it has one mezuzah, Ein Nasi Radachas. The Rebbe, if we spoke about the Toshlam and Olive when that plane was hijacked, and he was talking about also in Tebi, how one mezuzah can save a whole city. Talking about why the Abishter made it happen, the whole world was involved. Mr. Mezuzah. So one mezuzah. Rashi says that kol shkein chumash. Surely, if you have a chumash or any other sefer, because there has the Abish's name repeatedly, not just a few times like a mezuzah. Save the whole city. Why? My time. You can burn everything that's in there. But keep you can't burn the mezuzah. It says, all the Achrim talk about why don't we say that asay is doichad the. Why don't we say that the asay of burning should be doichad the? One of the answers given, if I remember correctly, is that the loisus is on every time it says Hashem's name, you're over a different aveda. But there's only one asay. The asay is burn all the assets. If there would have been an asay for every single thing you're burning, you're fulfilling a mitzvah of the Inadach Haseh. A mitzvah say countering every single license that don't, erase Hashem's name. But you have one assay here to burn the entire, it's kol shlolim. One assay, burn the entire assets. You have an individual license for every time it says Hashem's name, it said don't do this to Hashem's name. So an assay can only push away one license, not many licenses. I'm going to be able said, Anita, you see, yet I saw it, same Rabbi Innocent. The Yeshafti al Tila, and I sat on the mound of all the pile of rubble. Interesting, it's always Rabbi Innocent who sees all these things. Kaman Rozla Hadatadya Koita, who do we learn the following? The third one. Beis Hamanuga, a house of leprosy. Lahaya Lazaliyah, it's never happened, never will happen. So why was it written in the Torah? The Reisha Kabbaschat. Leprosy should form on a house in itself is a miracle, and then he has specific requirements. Come on, a house that tame. And you have to have two sides of beams. I'll stay on two stones. Two walls, the curtains always on the corner. You have to have the size of a beam on the right side. Let's say on the size of a beam on the left side. They're contiguous to each other. Or the length has to be contiguous. So it's like 2 grisen long. The rachik gris, the minimum of a width of a gris. My time, Rabbi Elazar, Shimon, what's the swallow has to be mamash in the corner touching each other. See, kir. So one pasuk it says kir, the wall. He says if you see a nega on the wall, and then it says that it's paler than the rest of the wall. And then it says another pasuk. See, it says kirais, and because it says kir and it says kirais in the same pasuk, eza kir single one wall or two walls. How the end is over the corner is one. It looks like one wall. And Tanya, and because it was so rare that this should happen, the whole thing is rare. So this is even more rare. It's like it never happened. Tanya Amr Mokum Haya, no, this is not Yenison, somebody else. Mokum Haya Betchum Haza, there's a place within Haza. They closed it that this was a house that was knocked down because it had this tzaras. By the way, there's a big machlekes in the Charenim if Haza is part of Eretz Yisrael or not. And one of the rayas they bring that it is right here because nega only happens in Eretz Yisrael. And you're using a raya that he saw a house with nega. The whole nega is a mess on a house, and this was an azah with chum azah. So, okay, so, yeah, but that's exactly. So they said, but the azah side, not the Tzoldiger side. Okay, that's what they want to know. You're right. Those who disagree maybe will say that. Amr Shem and Ishkwaraku Pamachas once I went to Galil, but easy mokum. I saw a place in Mitzayin Oisav Amr Avonim and the guy is Pinglasham. They cleared over here stones. No, it didn't happen. So two people argue, but here in Alma you have 3 mitzvahs. In the Dachas Ben Soyer and Nega and the house at least that never happened. Tell me further. Mishnah Hayachem one was an amputee, or they were limping, or Ilamamut, they saw a blind, or Chedesh, or deaf and dumb. And in Asa Ben Soyer murder, none of them, if the parents have one of these things, they cannot be said Ben Soyer murder. Why not? Then because it says the Tavshu by other the father and mother should grab a hold of him, so have to have hands. The leg in, not if they're missing hands. The Haitzia Isa. They should take him outside. If they can't walk really, then they're lame. They can't. But Amru, they have to say, but I'm gonna have the mute. But this is the point to the son. This is our son. But the blind, they can't point. Einenu shemeh bekelei. Listen to our voice. What have to do with them being deaf and dumb? Because even though from the actions they can see that he didn't listen, but they have to be able to hear that he said, "I don't care. I don't want to listen," but they can't hear that. This is the stage. This is another stage. You don't kill him straight away. First, they warn him in front of 3 people. And they give him malchus. Now Rashi says the warning over here is not hasra, because it's not really hasra. Says Rashi for a couple of reasons. One of them is You don't know now that he's going to do something that's Chayiv Misa. Every Hasra, you have to do Tech Kedibah. Right? You're already middle of the action in Tech Kedibah, so we can say that it's, that this is connected. We're having Ksubas of Lamalalos. But over here, talking about in the future, he's going to go, Malastim Sabrius, he leaves home. So that's not really Hasra. Not really Hasra. Yeah. And also, you need two aid to give Hasra. Who are the aid here? The parents. And the three people are acting as judges. Chazer Bekilkul. Okay, they give him Malchus. Chazer Bekilkul. He did repeat it again. That's it. Give him one chance. No three chances. Not the best should now get judged by 23. But one of the three out of the 23 judges should be the original three. Doesn't get killed unless the first three are there. It says, this is something we took to you a while ago. Remember, we had all machlekes. It says Yada Eidim and Shayna. So we had about the Shmuel said over there. We take the pasuk literally. Take the pasuk literally. The pasuk is not saying stam and how it's a nice thing. It's no fluff. Tatum means literally, and therefore we don't have a whole discussion. Whenever it has. So Shmuel paskins if they're amputated, they can no longer now. They can no longer you don't kill the person because you Yada Eidim and Shayna. So they ask, what about an Eilach Atchilah who is amputee? So he says that the hand that they had in the beginning, they have to continue having. So the Gemara is saying here, Shaman al we're doing the same thing in this pasuk over here. Take the pasuk literally. Shaman al you need to take the pasuk literally, like Shmuel says, because there has a machlekes. So the Gemara is shining. Okay, no, why the kula kroy seidu? The pasuk is extra. It's not stam. We take it literally because it's extra. What do you need all the pasuk for? They could have just said, "Wait, say some sharir," and stone him. Why in front of three? Two should be enough. You need to aid him. That's all that he doesn't behave, and then you kill him. Because it says, Abaye says, you warn him in front of two people, because and then but Malchus, you bring him to a bezin to give the Malchus. Because you always need Malchus in front of the people like has the first pay. The Ben Malchus, the Ben Shemer, where does Malchus come? Ben Shemer, it says scout him. Where's Malchus come in? When it says Abu says Lamadnu, we learn out the Yisru by Moisi Shemra. It says in the pasuk they take him out there and the Yisru Oisei. Right? They punish him. Well, what do? We don't know. But then you look in Ben Shemer, it says also the same word the Yisru. So you learn the Yisru from the Yisru. And in that pasuk with the Ben Shemer, it says Yil Ish Ben, so the Ben, the Yisrum Ben. In the same pasuk it says by Ben Shemer, he says Ben. And then we have another pasuk that says Ben Hakash Rasha. Well, Ben Bin, even though it's a different word, but it's the same letters. Well, Ben Hakash Rasha, and that's how we know these Malchus for both of them. You just said before Zeh. You just said before you need Zeh. That should be blind. That means that you need. This is the guy you saw, originally 3 days on him. Zeh v'loy sumin in kelech b'neinu hu. My b'neinu zeh. Can say b'neinu hu. It's our son. And you can still learn out. They have, they're able to say b'neinu hu. They have to be. How do you know it's your son? Because they have to see him. Why zeh? I'm going to tackle two things. Next Mishnah. What happens? Remember, the entire window of a Ben is 3 months. What happens? What happens if he fled before Bezin gave out his final verdict? And then by the time they caught him again to bring him back to Bezin, he gives It's already past the window of 3 months. He's now an adult. If he would have done it now, he wouldn't get punished at all. Because we have to judge had it been now. Because we didn't give a verdict yet. But they gave him a final verdict, but they weren't able to carry it out because he fled. He gives by the time they caught him, apprehended him already, it was over 12 and 3 months. Because the judgment already happened before. Says the Gemara, I want to learn out from here. Discuss a ben noyach shebedach es Hashem. If a goy, let's say, he was a blasphemer, and he gets his punishment, which is sayif, and then he became a ger. They say the word ger. Rabbeinu Chai writes the word ger. The mocker of the word ger is gargir, like the lone olive on top of the tree. So this is the lone person, and the lone person on top of wherever it is in his world. But he's no family anymore. He's alone. And the Baal Turin is out. Some Sefer writes, "Kol Kul say get a guy country no dummy. What's the mocker?" Besides Morivam is the different opinions. So the Baal Turin writes. Says one place, Ger Yosef Amon. So he says, put the word, the comma after the word Ger Yosef. It's not two different people. Every Ger is a Yosef because they have no family. And that's what we learn now. Geisha the guy. Anyway, the guy Potter. He's Potter. Why is he Potter? Because because you didn't change. Now he doesn't say because if you were taking the court right now, he'll be Potter because he won't be Potter. Megadeth gets skiller, but you're not the same person. You see, just like, and he understands the same thing here in the Mishnah. The Ben Shlomo is not the same person anymore. 1 second, we didn't right. This is no verdict. No. He did a Veda. There were 8 but now and why? Hoyle, he says, two things changed. As a Ben Noach, 1 aid, no hasra, 1 dying will kill him. As a Yid, 2 aidim, hasra, Bezin of 23. So the dinim changed. Plus, Misa changed. There you get Saif, and now you get Skila. So it's a whole different kettle of fish. So you can't now, in this situation, take him and punish him for what he did in that situation. Everything changed. Name him, say that from Mishnah. He fled before the Gemara. He was Potter is Potter. My time was he Potter. Because he changed. The situation changed. He's no longer the bedside Moira. They were like, no, you can't be right from here. Over here, if he would have been brought to Bezin now, he'd be totally Potter. He's over 30. He was over 23 months. But in the case of the blasphemer as a Yid, he would get even a stricter punishment, skiller. So who said that you don't get punished? The won't get killed. Toshma being another it says in the Mishnah dinner, but after the Gemara did, but it fled. Wagner getting older, chayiv. Nigma, so we see forget. We see lechayda a cash in him. We see that you do get punished now, even though your situation changed. See what we're talking about? Nigma dinner kilu. He's already a dead man. He's a dead man walking. So therefore, that's different. No rai from there. Nothing changed. Nothing with that. Ketoshma from the following brayse. Somebody struck his friend. He killed his friend. Now, as a guy, he gets saif, but as a Yid also he gets saif. Same punishment. We'll discuss that in a minute. Or he had committed adultery with Eishes Chaveda, with his friend's wife. As a guy, he gets saif. As a Yid, he gets chenek. Different punishment. Then this guy, and he became a gay Potter. He is Potter. He's Potter because the situation changed. The dinim changed. Even the misa changed. He'll get killed, but a different kind of misa, which is similar to Chanina with the case of the blasphemer. We'll soon see. Also came Yisrael, but if he, while a guy, he let's say killed a Yid, or let's say he committed adultery with a Yiddish woman, and then he became a ger. Chayv is chayv. Why? Because if he would have done now as a Yid, he also would have been killed. Or is it Sai for Ish or Sai for Chayv? Yeah. Even though the din has changed, but the Misa hasn't changed. Because before was Saif, if you kill somebody as a goy, you get Saif, and you kill someone as a Yid, you get Saif. So since, even though the dinim changed, the Misa didn't change, we'll punish it now. Now, following Rab Chanina's logic, but my name, since he changed, the situation changed, the dinim changed, then he shouldn't be punished now. So the moral answer we just said before. Two things changed. There, the Misa changed and the din changed. The din changed, single witness, and the Misa changed from Sayyif to Skila. Here, the Misa doesn't change. You get Sayyif for a Yid, and let's say, and for Goy, let's say, no difference. Dino in Misasa Binan. The high din is true, the dinim changed, but Misasa is the Misa doesn't change. He'll get Sayyif either way. Whether he did as a Goy or whether he did as a Yid, you'll get Sayyif. Frag the Gemara Bishleim, you say you're right. Because Sayyif, Hasha Sayyif, you're right, same Misa. Okay. El H is Ish. What is a goy punishment for H is Ish adultery? He gets Sayyif. And a Yid punishment is Chenek. Because Sayyif, Hasha Chenek. So Chenek was a change. So Gemara said, but talking about Benaid HaMirasa. Now, what we learned before about a goy is a goy always gets Sayyif. But if he does something to a Yid where in the goyish rules, there's no Issa, by goyim wouldn't be an Issa. But by Yid is an Issa, then he takes on the punishment of the Yid. By a Goy, there's no wife, married woman, unless you have beer together. So it's never Shaykh Naida Marasa. So Naida Marasa is only by a Yid, and by Yid gets killed. So here they'll get exact same punishment, and that's what we're talking about here. But Naida Marasa, the Yid is killed. They'll get killed, same punishment. And that's why you'll punish him now. But what are we talking about? It says if Asa Cain, he first started off saying he did this to a Goyish woman, and then if he did this, the same thing to a Yiddish woman. And by Goyish woman, could only be talking about an Eish Ish. A married woman. So when it says also came by Yisrael, talking about a married woman, not a Naida Marasa. Do me the Eish Chavaytani, same Eish Chavaytani. Eling gives another word. What did he get as a goy? Saif. What does he get as a yid for a shizish? Chenek. So Saif is a stricter punishment than Chenek. Every stricter punishment automatically includes the weaker punishment. It's as if he got Chenek. So it's not like a different punishment. He's getting Chenek plus a step above. So therefore, it's as if the mitzvah is the same. If as a yid he only gets Chenek, he would have gotten that as a guy as well, but more than that. So Mela, it's the same. It wasn't a change really. Elakala the Chamuda Meishach Shaychig. He slept along, grabbed along. Says the Gemara, this makes sense. That Saif is stricter, Dama Saif Chama. Okay, so when the guy gets Saif, he includes the Chenek. Rabbi Shimon said what? The Chenek is stricter. So as a guy, he would have gotten Saif, but as a Yid, he gets Chenek, the stricter punishment, so he didn't get it. So the situation changed. How come he still gets punished? Michael may want to say. So when I say that Shimon Sobolo Ketanve Menashe, Shimon holds like Tanve Menashe, the Arnold who says, Kol Misu Hamudul Bnei Noyach Eine Ela Chenek. He holds like Tanve Menashe that go, you also get Chenek. Exact same punishment, Chenek, same punishment. So you went, okay, Bishleime Eishazi, so now forget. Eishazi, that makes sense. Me caught a chenek as a goy, he gets chenek because every misa by a goy is chenek. And bahash the chenek. And now as a yid, he also gets chenek for eishazish. Perfect. So therefore he'll get punished. But now the question will be the ritzeach. What does a goy get for the tzitcha? Sayif. And what does a yid get for the tzitcha? What does a goy get for the tzitcha? Chenek, you tell me now. Every punishment by a goy is chenek. What does he get a tzitcha? Chenek, which is chenek. Sorry, a yid is tzitcha sayif. That means the punishment as a yid is stricter than the punishment as a goy. As a goy, according to the Tanvei Menashe, he'll get chenek. As a yid, he'll get sayif, the stricter one. So the punishment has changed. So chayri shouldn't get punished. El Ratzeach mikor chenek v'hash the sayif. So what answers and so we say kala b'chamura meishayich. Remember, he holds like Rabbi Shimon. Chenek is the stricter one. So therefore, the same word. Chenek includes sayif. Now let's bring a right to prove Rabbi Chanina support Rabbi Chanina. It says, let's say the girl did znus, and then what do you call it? She was a naida merasa, right? And she was sorcha, so they get skila. And then vacha bogra. Then by the time you brought her to court, she was already bagedas, which you only get even if she's a merasa, but you have to be a naida. We learned before. Maybe we had a discussion about Tamna, but definitely once she's 12 and a half. She only gets bagedas. Tidain bechenek. She gets punished bechenek. Even though she committed the aveda while she was a naida merasa, but since you brought it to court, now she gets punished as if she would have done it now. Biskila my time why not kiskila? Because she changed, and we look at it now. Even though the aveda was done at the time, back then, but we look at the time when you're judging. Over here when he changed completely, right? He's Megaya completely changed for sure. You don't get the punishment before. Rabbi himself said there's a mistake here. He told the Tana, read as if it says Tidain Biskila, that she does get punished, the earlier punishment. The discussion is, you get punished at the time of Veda, or you get punished now when the time is now. That's the Mishnah. Why do you get killed? Because of the Seif. Yamus Zakai. We'll talk tomorrow about them why he gets Skila. He should only get Saif. Yamus Zakai, let him better die now. When he didn't do an Avedis yet, about Yamus Chayv, he shouldn't really die when he's Chayv. Now Russia dies. Good for them. You spare them, they do less Avedis. And good for the world. One Russia less. So the tzaddikim, if a tzaddik passes away, Ra'ala is bad for them. They cannot do mitzvahs. And the Ra'ala Olam, they protect the world with their mitzvahs. And Rashi says two things. They're Meginin. Rashi says Meginin al doidim, they protect them, and Umaychichin al doidim. They have two jobs. But while they're protecting us, they can also reprimand us for our behavior. Yayin v'sheina, wine and sleep, just doing nothing, not being constructive. Let us show you they love wine and sleep. And the world's also happy because then while they're sleeping and busy with themselves, they have no time for anybody else. Well, tzaddikim ra lehen. If they have wine and sleep, they're not learning, and v'ra'lo'elam, not protecting the world. And because the Torah, Rashi says the Torah that they learn protects the world as well. Pizer, sorry, when they're not together, there's no achtas. it's good for them because they do less Avedas. They don't sit down and seek counsel how to make more tzaddas in the world. But no, we all benefit from it. But the tzaddikim, if tzaddikim are not together, ra lehen is bad to them because they're not, discussing Teda. And but the Teda is not growing where it should be. Kinis, if they gather together, the Rishoyim, ra lehen is bad for them because they come up with all kinds of terrible things. But ra lehen is bad for the world. The tzaddikim, hano lehen, hano lo'ilam. But tzaddikim to get together is fantastic for them and for the world. Check it if it's quiet. L'rishoyim, ra lehen is bad for them because they're not doing anything, but ra lo'ilam. But it's bad for the world as well because they are doing some things and nothing's happening. But maybe whatever's continuing. But tzaddikim, if it's quiet and peace, they can do whatever they want. Okay, we'll stop here.